Way up high in the Himalayas, right on the banks of the Mandakini River, you'll find the Kedarnath Temple. For centuries, it's been this incredibly sacred place for millions of people. But this ancient building, well, it holds a story that is almost impossible to believe. It's a story of survival against all odds. So, let's dive in. Okay, so picture this. It's June of 2013. A massive, catastrophic flash flood just rips through the region. We're talking a terrifying torrent of water, mud, and giant rocks, just barreling down the valley. It wiped out entire towns, bridges, roads, pretty much everything in its path was just gone. The devastation was total.
And yet, somehow, in the middle of all that ruin, the Kedarnath Temple was still standing. Everything around it had been completely washed away, but the main building was basically untouched. So that begs the question, right? It's the huge mystery we're looking into today. How on earth did this ancient temple survive something so destructive? The answer is this really fascinating mix of what some call a miracle, a powerful myth, and some seriously brilliant engineering.
The first reason, and honestly, it's the most mind-blowing one, is this massive boulder. Today it's known as the Bhima Shila, which means the savior boulder. As this insane flood was just raging towards the temple, this huge rock was carried along in the current. But then, in a moment that just defies all logic, it came to a dead stop right behind the temple's back wall. It acted like a perfect shield. It literally split the floodwaters into two streams that just flowed harmlessly around the sides of the building. For so many people, this was nothing short of a divine miracle.
But to really get the full picture of the temple's strength, we've got to go way, way back, like thousands of years. A lot of people believe its resilience isn't just in the stones it's built from, but in its sacred beginnings, a story that's rooted in the epic quest of the Pandava brothers from the Mahabharata.
So the story goes like this. After the massive war of the Mahabharata, the Pandava brothers felt this immense guilt for their actions and desperately wanted Lord Shiva's forgiveness. But Shiva, well, he wasn't happy about the war, and he avoided them by disguising himself as a bull. But the hero Bhima was just too determined. He saw right through the disguise, and as this divine bull tried to disappear into the ground, Bhima lunged forward and grabbed onto its hump. You know, it was that single act of pure, unwavering devotion that finally won Shiva over. He appeared, forgave their sins, and right there on that spot, he established himself as a Jyotirlinga, a sacred pillar of light.
And here's the coolest part. This is where the myth becomes physically real. If you go inside the temple's inner sanctum, the main object of worship isn't your typical round stone. It's a triangular rock, shaped exactly like the hump of a bull, the very part that Bhima held onto. So the legend isn't just some old story, it's literally carved into the heart of the temple.
But divine will isn't the whole story here. The other major reason for Kedarnath's strength is its incredible architecture. This is where faith meets some absolutely fascinating ancient science. I mean, this temple has a history of resilience that is just unbelievable. The building we see today was put up way back in the 8th century, and it has stared down the absolute worst that nature can throw at it. Get this. Geologists think that during a mini ice age, it was completely buried under a glacier for 400 years, and it came out totally fine. And then, of course, it survived the 2013 floods. That's not just luck. That is some next-level engineering.
So, how did they pull it off? Well, the technique they used was pure genius. The temple is built from these enormous, heavy gray stones, but there's no cement or mortar holding them together. Not a drop. Instead, the builders used something called an iron interlocking method. They cut the stones to fit together perfectly, like a giant, heavy-duty puzzle, and then locked them into place with iron clamps. This made the structure incredibly strong, but also gave it just enough flexibility to handle the massive pressures of living in the Himalayas.
So when you put it all together, what you have is this truly unbreakable legacy. It's not just a story about faith, and it's not just a story about brilliant building techniques. It's this powerful point of convergence where the divine and the scientific seem to work together in perfect harmony. So let's do a quick recap of what makes this place so special. It's in Uttarakhand, on the banks of the Mandakini River. The core belief is that it's a gateway to liberation, or moksha. And its most unique features, that triangular Shivling born from an ancient myth and the modern miracle of the Bhima Shila, they tell a story you just won't find anywhere else.
In the end, you really can't chalk up Kedarnath's survival to just one thing. It's a powerful combination of three very different forces, all coming together. The divine will that's baked into its origin story, the incredible ingenuity of its ancient builders, and a perfectly timed, miraculous intervention from nature itself.
Which leaves us with one final thought to ponder. Is the unbreakable temple of Kedarnath proof of divine protection? Is it a marvel of ancient science that we're only just starting to understand? Or is it maybe a place where both of those things are true at the same time? Perhaps the real answer is that some things, well, they're just built to last, in every sense of the word.